We are live with my big old wine glass in the thing. That's fine. That's fine.
Got to be more careful.
Hey, Facebook, we are back. So, like I do every week, right? We are going to synchronize together and share it out. Share, share, share. Click like, click share. Click like and click share. I can never find it. I'll be all over the place. But one day I'm gonna have a staff, and I'm not gonna have to do this. My staff is going to do it. One day soon. Let me put that out there in the atmosphere. One day soon, very, very soon, I'm going to have a staff, and they're going to do this for me, so I can concentrate on the show. So tonight is going to be a really special night, right? Because tonight we are talking to the males about forgiveness. Now, for me, I forgive, but I don't forget. So I'll keep that till later. And then we have the amazing, so she is my new kind of like brand person. She makes all of the talk show flyers. She will be the 2021 tour brand person. Like, we had a conversation not too long ago, and I was like, brand content. She was like, yeah, just leave it alone because you don't know what you're talking about. She didn't say it like that, but hi. It's Felice Kimbrough. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Felice Kimbrough. You got it.
Like, hey, Kimbrough. Hey.
Right. So it's like R-E-W Kimbrough. Yeah, that's me.
Honey, they got these kids at home with us teaching. I hope they pass. But anyway. So what is your actual title?
Oh, I wear a few different hats, right?
I know, right?
So I majored in media studies, and then I concentrated in television production when I was in school. And we
got a whole nother thing to talk about then. Okay, but keep going.
So I graduated in the first graduating class for the media studies program at Governor State University. I was the only girl in my class, so I had a whole, a bunch of males with me. And so then after that, I started working in like local programming and municipality. And so I started off with like photography, then ventured off, got into videography, and now I'm doing all sorts of website and design services. So like a title, I would probably say professional content creation is like the best one, because there's nothing that
professional content creator.
Yeah, like, everybody is a content creator in their own right now, right? Because you own a business, you have to create content to keep your marketing and advertising up. But I think that's probably the best way to encompass everything, because there's no word for all four of those. I mean, just kind of services. So I just kind of keep it simple. Professional content creator. That's all it is. You need all of that in one, you got it. If not, I refer you to someone who I know can do the job. So yeah.
I'm still stuck on the professional content creator. So is that like a brand person? Like,
you know what? Okay, so this is my take.
What's the difference?
Right? I've seen people call or people like that I worked with, they call themselves like brand, I don't know the term, but like posting like all the time, like, 24/7, like the same post over and over again, to me is not like content, so yeah, they're creating content, but I think it's the same thing. If you're relying on another source to create that content for you, then I think there's a difference. So like, there are different avenues, there's different areas in marketing and advertising, right? Knowing how to create a Facebook ad, clearly that's the biggest thing right now. People are like utilizing that. I think the average wait time for like a Facebook ad right now is really long because of what's happening with COVID. Everybody's trying to utilize it because everybody is at home, right? So yeah, so it's like, I think knowing just like what area you want to push. So if you're more marketing and you're creating your own marketing material, then you would be considered your own content creator. So just having the tools, creating the graphics, creating the website, creating the photos, the professional headshots that you need, because they are key, like, you know, for
Yeah.
your so, yeah. Yep.
That's so I am going to show you guys her marketing right now. You have to bear with me because y'all know I'm not tech savvy, but I'm gonna have a staff in a minute. I'm gonna have a staff, y'all. Y'all gotta say that. I'm gonna have a staff.
You're gonna have a staff, we call it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a staff. I don't even know. Give me a second. There we go. So I'm going to share this, guys, with you. So this is who she is, and this is what she's marketing right now, which caught my attention. And I've been working with her now a little over a month, but she has never let me down. Is it? It could be, you know. One day is 10 days around here with this hole. You can't go nowhere. Yeah. So this is her. You'll see it on my Facebook page. You'll see it on all of my pages. You'll see it on YouTube. You'll see it everywhere that we go. It's going, because she now works with the Art of Transparency talk show as well as the tour. So that is her, guys.
Appreciate that. I'm so excited for your tour, though. Like, I'm really excited about that.
2021, we're gonna come out and we're gonna be just
2021 for sure.
COVID kind of messed up 19. So I've got some guys in the room, right? And as I stated before, we are going to talk about forgiveness from the male perspective. Now, for me, forgiveness is different from forgetting. I can forgive you and you still not enter my space ever again, depending on what you did. So I can forgive you, but I can't let you be with me. I can't let you, and that goes for friendships, relationships, all the ships, right? Because I'm going to forgive you because that's what I'm supposed to do. But that doesn't mean that I have to be your friend. That doesn't mean that I have to be your girlfriend or your wife or whatever have you. That just means that you good, we good, but your part in my life is done. So I have some returning guests, Sean and Michael. Hey, y'all. And then I have a newbie to the scene of the Art of Transparency, Mr. Eugene. So tell me, somebody jump in there and tell me, what do you feel like? What is forgiveness? How do you feel that you can forgive? Can you forgive and forget? How does that work?
I guess I'll jump in then.
I'll let the vets go
Here
first.
we go. That's funny. So, do you forgive and forget? No.
Okay.
First of all, let me start with forgiving. I just heard you say, you can forgive somebody and not have them in your space and keep them in a separate area and so forth and so on. For me, I think that it's a time period for me before I'm even able to forgive anybody for something major. Because I think we go through a thing where it's easier to be upset with that person than to forgive them. And it's easier to
That's good.
It's easier to carry around the ill feeling for them instead of truly forgiving them. And I think you have to wait until a point where you're ready to truly forgive them. And when you are ready to truly forgive them, they don't even have to know. Because it's not about them. A lot of people say, people have to apologize for you to forgive them. That's not true, because they can apologize to you and you can give lip service and say you forgave them because that's what you're quote unquote supposed to do. Or you forgave them because people are saying, well, they did apologize, they did do this, they did do that. Well, maybe they didn't mean to, blah, blah. So now you're feeling peer pressure to forgive them. or they lay the guilt trip on you like, hey, well, I've done this, that, and the other to make up for it. So now you're forgiving them because of that. All of
Mhm.
those reasons are the wrong reasons to forgive anybody. You have to forgive them when you are ready to forgive them. And you're not forgiving them for them, you're forgiving them for you. Because what you're really doing is you're carrying around all that excess negative energy that's associated with them. When you're ready to let go of that energy, then you're ready to forgive.
You just dropped so many nuggets. I don't even know what to start with, hon. You just, yeah, that's a whole lot of nuggets.
Grocery bag for all them that he just.
Right.
Right. I'm gonna hit the
We're-
button
we're
like end show. We're done.
You said
Um,
we're done, huh?
What? Okay, so I can't.
Go ahead.
That's
Eugene.
why I said it's the male perspective, because I knew you guys was going to give me something and cause me to be speechless. So I'm gonna let y'all have it.
I want to tie in what I'm saying. It's very important. The major thing about forgiveness is that it really frees you. I think it's very immature, very crazy at sometimes when we walking in unforgiveness is really not a word, because how can you take back something that you're supposed to give? But when you're walking in the sense of not forgiving someone, you're really walking around drinking poison, expecting that person to die. You're holding that in. But the first thing you have to do is you have to really acknowledge the offense. And the biggest thing is, and I'm tired of what Michael's saying, is that if you really focus on the offense and not the offender, that kind of will help you start walking towards the forgiveness road. Because as long as you focus on the person and what they did to you, and if it was really major, it's kind of hard for you to really, like if it's your child or if it's an ex-spouse or if it's a family member, even a church member, like that shouldn't happen. Like certain relationships, the things happen in when it's an offense, we tend to focus more on the offender because that shouldn't have came from you. And that's kind of what holds up the process. I never forget, the biggest thing I've learned is that forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Just because I forgive you does not mean I have to let you back in my circle. That does not mean I have to embrace you. I have to forgive you for me. I think one of the things that hinders forgiveness is, if we be honest, is that we always want closure. We always want an explanation of why this happened or why you did that. So that's kind of one of the first things I think that kind of hinders us from truly forgiving or even starting on that process.
There was this thing on Facebook they used to say, and I'm sure it's floating still. It says, I have to forgive you for the apology that I never got, or something along that line. Like, I still, whether you apologized or not, I still have to forgive you for what you did or what you said. So Sean, I want you to chime in on that, but do we feel like there's a difference in friendship versus relationship when it comes to forgiveness?
Well, there can be. I think that one way that it'll give you some perspective is when you think about the situations where you needed to forgive someone for something that was significant. When you think about it, they're typically fine.
They've moved on. Oh, yeah.
They're not walking around carrying anything. They're not walking around with any bitterness. Now, that could be for a number of different reasons. They could be aloof and they could not realize what they've done to hurt your feelings. They could not care that they've hurt your feelings. Right. So that speaks to what both Mike and Eugene have said about the fact that it's really more about you. Carrying it is unhealthy for you. And so when you get to the place where you want to forgive them, you're taking care of you. You're freeing up your own energy. You're not going to bed at night anymore angry and bitter when you're seeing their social media posts, or you run into them at the club, and you rolling your eyes. You're not doing that anymore. So I think that's the first thing. When you think about the fact that they are sleeping peacefully and you are not, then it gives you the perspective to know that you need to take care of yourself on that tip. The second thing is there are degrees of forgiveness. It's not like it's a flat, it's white and black. My favorite color is gray. You know,
Come on here with that gray. Yes, come on.
there are different degrees. And sometimes it can be a black and white situation that time dictates.
Okay.
Right. Like, for example, I lost a friend over something that I felt they had done to me. And this was friendship, not relationship. And we were estranged for 10 years. 10 years. We had a mutual friend who would always try to coerce me, you know, to mend the friendship. And I would explain to him, the wrong was done to me. So
Okay.
I don't feel any pressure to fix anything, because clearly I haven't lost anything. The friend I thought I had, I did not even have ultimately. So you can't coerce me to mend something that showed itself to be intangible anyway. But over time, we ran into each other at an event. First thing he said was, "Man, I love you. Let me buy you a beer." I said, "Sure." We began to talk, and our friendship, it'll probably never be what it once was, but our friendship is comfortable again. Birthday wishes, how you doing, checking on each other. Now, I think what's important with that situation is that we've never broached what the fallout was about. Because your address hasn't changed and my address hasn't changed, then when we put those two things back together, we're still going to be on opposite ends of that situation.
Wow.
So we're just mature enough to decide that our friendship is more important than determining who was right or who was wrong. Because chances are, after 10 years, he still feels the same way and I still feel the same way. And if we engage on that, then we're going to split again, because I'm going to be pissed again.
Oh,
So,
what, Felice, what you doing? What you got to
Did
say?
you see my hand go up? I was like,
I was
wait a
like,
minute. Hold on, I got a question. I got a couple questions. Later, just slow down a second. No, okay, so that's a good point. I never thought of it that way, because usually when I reconcile with people, or at least from people from my past, and we fell out, I would try to get to the bottom of, hey,
bottom
like,
of it, don't we?
but you bring a good point in saying that they probably feel the same way. There's no need to even, I mean, not necessarily talk about it, but there's no need to go back to even discussing it. We've grown apart. The issue is over with. Let's move on. But I never thought of it like that.
what I think that you guys are really processing unintentionally, you're putting it in the pool of forgiveness. But what you guys, Felice, have been talking about is closure. When you talk about the apology that you didn't
See, I'm about to just hit the button. They keep ending my show.
Yes.
Versus forgiveness. Those
You-
two, you know, people are wired very differently. You have some people that will spend their whole life trying to get the closure to justify what somebody maybe did to them. Other people have no desire for closure. I'm kind of a closure person because I'm a logic-oriented person. So I need to put pieces in place that led to the way this went down. To me, if you don't want that, then you leave too much gray area for, it could have been nothing like what you thought it was. You know, I have a friend right now, one of my dearest friends. We've been thick. At an event that I hosted, I did or said something that hurt this person's feelings, and they basically vanished from my life. And it was like after a month, and I was like, are you guys not talking to me or something? Because, you know, you're not present. And they acknowledged that I had done something. And I said, well, I wish you would have said something to me at the time, because we could have talked about it, discussed it. You rob a person of explaining themselves or explaining their mistake or your misinterpretation. So to me, it's very dangerous to make a person pay a price without letting them know what they're paying a price for.
So, okay. So you just see, Sean, nope.
That's unforgivable.
That part. So Eugene, Michael, that part, that do you feel like there needs to be a conversation sometimes? Like, maybe I misinterpreted that. Maybe they did or said something and they don't know they did or said it. Like, what does that due to forgiveness? Like, at what point can we say, you know what? Because I get that whole, like, let's not talk about it. We've been estranged for 10 years, 2 years, 3 years. It is what it is. Let's move on. I get that. Totally understand that. But at what point, though, do you have that conversation? Because maybe somebody didn't understand what they said or did.
100% sure that situation was nothing like it was interpreted, because I love this person dearly. And so anything that I may have said, I don't even know what I may have said, but anything that I said certainly was not meant to hurt. And anything that I did was not meant to hurt, because I legitimately love this person. So you robbed me of a chance of explaining myself and telling you what was misinterpreted or what you heard that wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? And then that defines the relationship. Once you do me like that, then the friendship has a whole new definition.
Michael is dying here. Go ahead.
I'm dying right here. So here's the thing. So, Sean, let me clarify something for you. They did not rob you of the opportunity to give that explanation for what happened. What they did was internalize what happened and then thought in their mind, what did I do to cause this? So what they didn't do was, before they had that conversation with you, they had to first forgive themselves for whatever they did, for whatever they thought they did to cause that situation. And one thing that we are not good at is forgiving ourselves for whatever we do.
Oh my God.
So because they took what
chair.
They took what, and I don't even know the situation.
Right.
But I can promise you, they took that situation, internalized it, and then did not forgive themselves for what they thought they did. Once they got to that point where they had forgiven themselves or even could move past that, that's when they decided to have that conversation with you. That's when they decided it was okay for y'all to be cool again. That's why I said earlier, forgiveness, the other person doesn't even have to know that you forgave them. That's why I said that earlier. They don't even have to know you forgave them, because it's not about you forgiving them. You have to come to it is about that, but you have to come to that conclusion yourself before you can move on and even talk to them. If you don't forgive them in your mind, you can give it lip service, but the feelings are still there. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be organic like it should be. So they had to forgive themselves first before they could move on and forgive you for whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Right. I'm sort of riding with Sean a little bit because I believe in closure. And sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. Like Mike said, you can, when something happens, the first thing you do, like, what did I do to cause that? Like, did I say something? Did I do something? And then once you really sit back and say, okay, I didn't do anything to cause that. And that's kind of where you have to focus on the offense and not the offender. Because if you focus on the offender, then it will turn to rage and anger. Because how could you do that to me when that's not how we were rocking? That's not how we were riding, be it friendship, relationship, business partners, marriage, whatever it is. Like, how could you do that? You know, I thought one thing and then you did something totally different, and I didn't operate in that vein. So how did I deserve that treatment? And some of us, I'll speak for myself. I beat myself up real bad. Like, if something goes wrong, like, I don't need you to say nothing to me because I'm my own worst enemy. I'll fuss at myself because I'll check myself like, okay, what did I do? What did I do to cause this? But once I come out of that shell and realize I didn't do anything to cause that, then we have another issue. Because now I need to talk to you, and that's where the closure comes in. Now I need to talk to you and say, okay, now, how do we get here? Like, I mean, we were rocking pretty good, and all of a sudden, and if I said something, let's talk about what I said. Like, again, concentrate on the offense and not the offender. And that's pretty much where I think a lot of people get it wrong in the forgiveness process, because we think about the person's characteristics instead of just concentrating on what actually happened. Because sometimes you could do something, maybe alcohol had a part in it, or maybe people were cracking jokes. I mean, you never know. It just depends on the situation. So you really have to concentrate on what was said or what happened instead of concentrating on the person as an individual.
I think it's
And
also how we put the platonic relationship versus the romantic relationship in a bit of a different expectation bucket when it
Yes,
comes
sir.
to that. And
Expectations.
in a way, I think that we have it backwards. And I think it makes sense that we have it backwards. The reality is our solid friendships are probably going to be, especially once you start to, function in the adult world and you pass certain ages, your solid friendships are going to be your friendships for the rest of your life. You're going to be friends with these people until you transition or they transition. Our romantic relationships have a lot shorter life expectancy, but our forgiveness meter is a lot more hypersensitive when it comes to the romantic relationship than the friendship. And I think it's because the vulnerability that we're sharing romantically is a lot more extreme and open and damaging to us should you misuse it. So it doesn't matter if it was 6 months. If I gave you my heart and my soul and I shared with you some things that I don't share with anybody because it's pillow talk, right? And then you do me wrong, that's going to hurt me a lot worse than me and Mike fall out about something. Me and Mike will eventually be able to go grab a beer and say, you know what, man, my bad. I thought this, you thought that, I said this. But when I give you my heart and then you show me that you're not willing to handle it with all the grace and the care that it requires, and so then that brings the question when somebody has hurt you and they want to come back.
Cool.
That's why a friend can take a hurt and mend it, right? But it's harder for somebody to hurt you romantically and then you give them a chance. And I don't want to talk too long, but I want to say this. Like, for example, I dated somebody that I cared for a lot. And we had one of those things where we dated like different times, different periods of our life. And so we dated in early as youngsters. And when it fell out, it was because she was on some foolery. And then 15 years later, she found me because she felt like I was like the guy that got away. And we started back dating, and there was still that element of foolery to her. And I said, I'm not gonna be able to do this. So some more years passed, and then she finds me again, and she goes, I understand why that first version of me and that second version of me were versions that you rejected. I understand that. I understand what they did to you. I understand how careless they were. I'm a different person now, and I want that third shot. And I said, you know what? I love you like a play cousin. But if I give you a third shot and you do me, then I'm the that's just a chance I couldn't take. And she may be a great, woman for somebody. And I do have, I care about her. She's a good lady. But
let me tell you how you're not getting 3 times.
Yeah.
I give you 2. I promise you I will. I will give you 2 because we all make mistakes, but that.
But wait, but Sean, isn't that the important, like, isn't that the reason why you should have those conversations? Like, all right, maybe we need to backtrack. You trying to come back around after the first or second time? Like, we need to chat, like, not necessarily break down what happened and point fingers, but
remember this, people operate from their address. So they're
That part.
they're not really thinking about what you're receiving. They're thinking about what they're giving. And so, believe it or not, she feels wronged. She feels wronged that I won't give her a chance. She feels like I am holding her hostage by her past.
Okay, so listen, right? Because that part right there, and and again, ladies, let me tell you how we will have our turn, and we're gonna have 2 men that's just kind of in the background, honey, because this gets deep, right? And here's my problem with that. And I've said that I had a conversation with a very good friend not too long ago. And I said to him, I said, people operate from where they are. Well, he or she didn't love me the way that I wanted to be loved. Well, they loved you for as much as they could, right? They don't know your love. They don't know how it's so much to that because there's another saying that says dating a person that was raised with love is so much different from dating a person that was raised on survival.
Ooh.
And I absolutely believe that. Like if you were raised in love, right? You know how to love a little bit differently than you do when you were raised in survival. Mom's a single parent, or dad's a single parent, and all they do is work. So you're surviving. Yeah, we're gonna have our chance, lady. I'm gonna be quiet.
Right.
So what you just said about the whole love aspect, and they didn't love somebody saying they didn't love me the way I deserve to be loved or the way I wanted to be loved. I have told someone this specifically. I said, look, you've known me for X amount of years, correct? We've been dating for X amount of years. You know how I love, and I know how you love. Don't expect me to change to love the way you love. Just like I'm not going to expect you to change to love the way I love. What I'm going to do is accept the love that you give the way you give it and recognize it. It might not be how I would do it, but I'm going to recognize the way you do it. But just like I recognize the way you do it, I need you to recognize the way I do it. So just because your love language is different than mine doesn't mean we can't love each other and love each other equally. All it means is I love different than the way you love. Now, what I will do is I will change a little bit to show you a little bit of what you need because I recognize that. And because I recognize that, I'm going to love you a little bit different than the way I would normally do it. But you're not going to get an abundance of that because that's just not who I am. So don't expect it. Don't push for it. And don't get mad when you don't get it because I'm not going to get mad when you don't love the way I love. All I'm going to do is, as your man, when you start acting like that, I'm going to say, okay, time out, baby. Let's have a seat.
Yeah.
Now, you know good and well, I don't do this. But this is what I have done. Now, if you're looking for something different, you need to weigh what I do as opposed to what you need. And if this is not enough for you, you need to walk out that door. And there won't be no hard feelings. I still
Even
love you.
after years?
I still love you, but if it's not enough, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen years down the road? Years down the road, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to find somebody on the side who gives you that little bit that you need. And when I find out about that, I'm going to be hurt because I gave you all I was capable of giving you. So if this wasn't enough for you, excuse my language for a second, your ass shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Come on. Let me tell y'all how I like talking to men. Let me tell y'all how I enjoy talking to men.
Here we go.
Because men give it to you straight. Men give it to you straight, honey. We still be trying to sugarcoat.
Listen to me very closely. This is how I operate. When I love someone, my love is not predicated on what they do. I choose to love you for who you are and for what I see in you. He said something that was key. Love language. It's so important to learn your own love language and as well as the person that you're interested in, because sometimes one or two of your love languages might cross and you'll be okay. But Mike made a good point. I'm going to love you in the capacity I can love you. And at some point, if that's not enough for you, then we need to come back to the table and have a conversation. And then you need to say, you know what, this is not working. And make it about the fact that it's not working. Don't make it an offense like, we're just not vibing. But like he said, we'll end up going years down the road, and I've been down that road, to look up one day and say, you know what, you really didn't love me. And like he said, then I found out it's been a couple of side actions. And we're right back to the conversation we're having tonight. What does forgiveness look like? Because you had a chance not to offend me.
Help me,
you had a
Jesus.
chance to get out, but you didn't.
Here because
Come on, son.
don't agree with Mike that much. on this.
Well, we can agree to
Well,
disagree.
come on, yeah.
That's the only reason I thought it was good for me to come in here, because that's
Come
what
on,
I'm
sir.
saying. But I don't see it quite the same way that he does. So I'm glad that he said once he knows what you need, then he will try to give you some of that, because
Okay.
that's very humane. But if you're blind
Mm-hmm.
and you can only read Braille,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to read to pass this class, I can sit books in front of you all day. You're never going to be able to read them. They're never going to do you any good. Until I put in front of you what you can utilize and what you can benefit from, you're not going to make any progress. And so the important thing is that we can't expect perfection if using Mike hypothetically, if we know that your love language is super counter to what his is, then you need to regulate your expectation. And then Mike needs to show himself willing to make some concessions to meet your need. If he's as guilty as she is, if she won't receive it, his kind of love, if he won't try to make a concession and give her kind of love. There's a woman, and I'm just going, we grown, right? We grown.
We're very grown. Very
That's
grown.
very grown.
Right now,
Very
in the
grown.
broom closet
Sometimes I
at
don't want to
work.
be, but
There's a woman somewhere right now in the broom closet at work getting her back blown out because she married to a dude for 5 years who won't tell her she's beautiful, or won't bring her flowers on a day that doesn't matter.
Come on with that truth, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? So
We good and
for me,
grown.
that's a challenge for me. You know, as I try to not be.
Mike is like talking and he's on mute. I need you to come on mute.
I try to, and we're not going to be perfect, but if I know somebody needs a certain something and that's where we are, that level of relationship, and then that's not really how I get down, then I like the challenge of being able to switch that gear and saying, okay, let me bring her some flowers on a Thursday for nothing.
Are you taking notes up there,
You know what I'm
please?
saying? Because think of here's what I'll end with. There is nothing more meaningful, especially to a woman, to see you trying to make an adjustment solely because you know it feeds her.
Say that.
You're gonna be up all night.
Can I,
Talk about it. Talk about it, please. Guys,
can I please?
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
Oh my God. So, Sean, I love you.
I know.
You
Please,
my
guys,
man.
I promise you I do.
But here we go. She made the decision to be with that man with the loving she was getting from him.
That's what I didn't say.
So if she made that decision to be with that man with the loving she was getting from him, and then still made the decision to go in that broom closet and get her back blown out, then guess what? She's dead ass wrong.
Here we go.
Because
Here we go.
because she accepted what he was given and stayed with him
Yeah,
with what she
Yeah.
was getting.
yeah.
And then for her to come back at a later date and say, hey, this is what you were giving me, but it wasn't enough. Well, you should have took your behind on somewhere. If it wasn't
agree.
enough for you then, if it was enough for you in the beginning, if it was enough for you in the middle, it should be enough for you before you walk your ass in that closet to get your back blown out. It's just that simple.
The conversation
You make
needs to
her
happen
making
in
the
beginning,
decision.
absolutely.
Her making the decision to go in that closet and get her back blown out was a conscious decision on her part
Yeah.
to be selfish and ignore what she had at home.
Talk about
Plain
it,
and
sir.
simple. Plain and simple. She made
I believe
a decision to be selfish and go do what she wanted to do and put her relationship in jeopardy. And you know what she's going to do when she gets found out? She's going to roll back and get to the beginning of this conversation and ask for forgiveness. And you know what that guy is going to do? That guy is going to sit back and analyze all the bullshit she's telling him about,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
you didn't do this,
Yeah.
you didn't do that, blah,
Yeah.
blah, this, blah, blah, that. And he's going to have to find it in his heart to try to forgive himself to be something that he never was in the first damn
Talk about it,
place.
sir. Say that again.
Yeah,
It's just
you
that
definitely
simple.
can't. Now you can't change the rules in the middle of the game. I'm definitely not suggesting that. You can't, you can't wake up one day and decide you want something totally different. But if that conversation happens, then you guys have a better chance of knowing what's expected and what you can deliver. And you're 100% right. If she signs up for what you say you can deliver, then she needs to stand down. What I'm saying is, every time you step outside of that parameter for her benefit, you're gonna win every single
I
time,
agree.
because she knows that your effort is solely about her and solely about trying to give her what she wants that's not natural for you. So yeah, I'm with you. You can't change the rules, but if you have a conversation at the beginning that sets your expectations, then you have a bar that you can always exceed when you want to.
So I have a question.
Here we go.
Can you forgive cheating?
Ooh, can I answer this, please?
Yes.
Mike,
I just want to.
Oh my
Can you
God.
forgive cheating?
Mike, say something for me, please.
I will. I will, bro.
Say something for me. I'm
Oh
gonna
my God.
mute my mic.
So those who really, really, really know me
Mhm.
know if you double cross me, yeah, it's probably not going to go well for you. But I will say this: in a very serious previous relationship, I forgave cheating over and over and over
How you do it?
and over. Hold on, let me finish.
Play
Let me
on the
finish.
play.
Let me finish.
That's 4 overs.
Mm. So I forgave cheating on more than a couple of occasions, okay, in a previous relationship. And what I found was, and this goes back to this whole forgiveness thing, and being able to forgive somebody without telling them, and about your capacity to forgive, and whether you can forgive, like the time period it takes for you to forgive. So, can you truly forgive cheating? Yes, you can truly forgive cheating. Will many people do it? No. Do I believe I truly did it? Hell no. I believe I gave it lip service. I believe I said all the right things, because that, just like going back to the beginning of our conversation, I said that's what some people do. You say the right things, but you're still carrying it in your heart. People pressure you. People say, "Hey, they've done this, they've done that." So yeah, I believe that you can do it. Am I capable of it? I honestly don't know, because I honestly don't think I have ever forgiven that action. I think I tolerated it. I don't even think I tolerated it. I think I put up with it to save a relationship I thought was worth saving for some odd reason. But after spending numerous, numerous uh, nights just up thinking and going over in my mind what I had done to cause this situation, because that's a lot of times what happens. Somebody will flip the table on you and make you believe that you did something wrong to cause this situation to happen. And I believe after
I'm about
going
to
over
pass
it,
out, y'all.
I'm just saying, I believe after going over and over it in my mind, and let me side note, women think this is exclusive to them, that like they'll think that, hey, dude cheated on me and blah blah blah, and he wasn't this, that, and the other. There's just as many women out
James
here.
about to do flips. Oh.
No, I see. There's just as many women out here cheating as there are men. That's why the divorce rate is 50%. And I know there's just as many women out here cheating, because before I was a taken man, I was the one they was cheating with.
That's the labels.
So I was the one that was calling. I was that dude. Like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking like this on TV, but I was that dude. So I mean, Did I ever forgive? I don't believe so. Do I think you can forgive cheating? Yes. But I think you can only forgive it if you're clear in your head what you did or did not do to contribute to the situation. You have to acknowledge that to yourself. And then you have to come to the realization that no matter what I did or did not do to contribute to the situation,
That wasn't fair.
that still was not my decision for her to go out and cheat. That was still a decision that she made, regardless of what I did. And she had a choice to make. She could have come to me beforehand and said, hey, this just ain't working. What people don't do is they don't come to somebody and say that because they don't want to lose the security of that relationship.
Come on in the room, Eugene.
Here we go. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to chime in with Mike on that. Let's be honest. Let's be crystal clear. Cheating is selfish. It's a selfish decision. You can't explain it away. You can't, from men as well as women, it's just a selfish decision because you make the decision, I don't choose to go home and deal with this issue. So what I'm gonna do is take Miss Jones or I'm gonna take Keyshawn and we're gonna go kick it and do what we do. Because I don't choose to be an adult and have a conversation of why I'm at this door. And here's the crazy thing about it. As an adult, can we honestly say if our mates came to us and said, listen, not necessarily that I'm going to cheat, but we need to have a conversation because things are getting kind of intense. Can we actually sit down and have that conversation?
As an adult, yes, you should be able to have that conversation.
Already doing it. It's like, I'm not doing it. I'm letting you know that if some things don't change, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some change because I'm just going to, this is the art of transparency, right? We being transparent. Let's be crystal clear. I'm like, Mike, I went through some situations where I was cheated on twice by someone. I made the mistake of cheating, but they had already done it twice. So when we came to the table with it, what we should have done as adults, either we're going to do one or two things. Either we're going to sit here and talk about what we did, the selfish mistakes that we made, and we're going to deal with it, leave it on the table, and then we're going to walk away. But as men, and I'm sure women do it too, but I'm speaking from the male perspective, I sat there and I accepted it. But then, like Mike said, somewhere down the road, I started beating myself up. Like, what did I do to cause this? Because regardless of, don't say, well, we both did it, no matter who did it first. Yes, it does. You made the decision to do it twice. Yes, I made the selfish decision, but you did it twice. And then I'm sitting there trying to figure out, like, what did I do to deserve that? Yes, I came and I confessed, I did wrong, I'm sorry. But now I'm in my mind as a man, like, okay, I wouldn't even own nothing at that time. So what did I do to make you go do that? So at some point, you're going to start forgetting about forgiveness, and then it's going to turn to anger. It's going to turn to you, internalize it on yourself. And then it's going to, now here's the thing, now watch this, is going to be deep. And then what it's going to do to you as a man is going to make you feel resented. It's going to make you feel abandoned. And in some situations, emasculated because it's like, I wasn't enough for you. Like you, and then you actually had to go out and do that. And now I'm not going to say that because that's a whole other conversation. But there's an old saying that, men cheat with their lower extremity and women cheat with their mind and their heart. So my question is, you let some dude get your heart and your mind and left behind dry. I'm supposed to be the one that you're supposed to have those conversations with. And that goes back to the forgiveness piece. Like, how do I forgive that? How do I move past that? Okay, I can forgive you, but as a man, at some point, that's going to keep ringing in my head. It's going to keep replaying. And I'm not going to be able to get past that. That's why I said at the beginning, forgiveness is not...
Like, nope, not my head.
I'm going to tell you, hey, bro, let me put your mind at ease about this.
Come on, bro. Help me out.
I love my
No.
You see
no,
why
I'm gonna put. I guess
you.
I'm gonna put your mind at ease about this.
Come on, bro.
It ain't only about their heart and their head. Just like us.
We grown, folks. Say it.
Sometimes we grown right now. Sometimes that thing. Okay, right, so sometimes that thing get hot, and she just want to see what the motherfucker like. Sometimes she just wants some side. I don't give a good god darn, because if you look at the hey,
Look at
your girl done
look
walked
at
off
my
the
show.
screen.
You done made
I'm
everybody
telling you,
leave.
look, I'm telling the truth. If we gonna tell the truth here tonight, we gonna tell the damn truth. Sometimes she just see one, just like sometimes we see one, and sometimes she sit over there with her girls like, girl,
He can get it.
I
Hey,
bet
okay,
you got
so the show.
Woo!
He
Girl,
telling too
I
many
know
secrets.
he do. She see that motherfucker walking around Jewel with them gray sweatpants on, and he live right down the block. Don't shake your head. You know I'm telling the truth. And her girls sit back and tell, girl, if he give me a shot, he gonna get it.
Hey, Mike, check this out. You ever see the movie The Usual Suspects?
Yes, sir.
So for me,
Y'all telling too much now.
for
This is
me,
supposed to be about men,
that's
not
what,
women.
that's what women have done. They've made the whole cheating game out to be a male thing. And so now they don't get looked at, expected. I can't tell you how many times I've been dating somebody, and when we're no longer dating, the first question I get asked is, what did you do?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
80% of the time,
Yeah.
it wasn't nothing I did, it was something that they did. So I got to the point where I stopped talking to women about the foolery and the nonsense and the cheating and all the stuff that I've been exposed to, because for some reason, women always stand flat-footed and say, oh no, women don't do that. No, like I got scars all over my body to prove.
Let me tell y'all something.
Just like everybody
When
else.
this world opens back up, you see these men on this panel? When this world opens back up, we are going to have an event, right? He said, she said. Because
Here we go.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. This is not Makita today, right? Life is, for me, it's different. But when I used to be in the world,
Yeah.
I would tell people, men, this is 12 to 2, something to do, baby. I don't catch feelings. I catch flights. I've been doing it way before the shirt came out, okay?
Period.
And nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. They was like, girl, women can't do that because we catch feelings and we love, baby.
A whole lot.
My name is Makita, not me. Yeah. Turn them doorknobs when you leave, because I'm not getting up. See ya.
So Makita, I must know all your cousins and them, because them was the ones who was in my inbox. Them was the ones who was texting me. Like, look, people tell me, look, I'm not messing up my home. This ain't what this is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call you a couple of times a month. If you're available, you available. If you're not, you not. I suggest you be available. Look, I have one young lady who's probably watching this right now. And I'm not gonna say her name, but I look, when we were messed around,
You could have logged off right
we
now.
were friends. We were friends. When we messed around, she had a man, had a child. They lived together. My phone would ring 3 times a year. That's it. I would never hear from her until then. 3 times a year.
And there was
Phone
no
ring.
Conversation.
What you doing?
Simple. What are you doing?
What you doing? Whatever I was
Come get this
doing, I dropped. Whatever I was doing, I dropped. What you doing tonight? Not a darn thing. Okay, I'll be over. She come over. She cook. What? She come over. She cook. She spend the night. She get up. She leave the next morning. Bye, baby. Bye, baby.
And we don't
4
talk
months
no
later.
more. What is
4
that?
months later,
Okay.
what you doing? So, but anyway, so now back to now here we go. While she was doing that, what was her man doing at home?
Right. Who's making love to your old lady while you out making love is what the song said.
So here's the thing.
Room.
This was forgiveness, guys, and I get it, right? But this all goes together. This all sits on top of each other, right? Relationships, friendships, situationships, because whether you want to admit it or not, they are a real thing. They are a real thing. Situationships are they have become the new
No.
relationship.
They're
Like,
stronger than traditional relationships.
for real?
They are.
I had a situationship for 8 years. I've never had a relationship for that.
You know why? Well, here I can't say why, but I can tell you one reason that I think that happens. Your situationship does not require you to go to battle against life.
Say it.
When you
What? You don't want a deal? Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna call you for 3-4 months.
when you tackle in the challenges of life with somebody, it just takes away some of that magic. When you can just dip off with someone, you ain't got to worry about what bill is paid, whether the school got their tuition, whether the kid got over whatever sickness they had. You can get together, enjoy each other's company, do what you do, and then go back to your life. That's why. Now, I'll tell you this, though. To me, the likelihood of your success in a relationship with the person that you're in a situationship with is
It's 0 to none.
Yeah, it's no better.
0 to none.
It's the freedom that you have that makes it work,
Mm-mm.
right? So at the end of the day, what you've created is a three-headed monster. And so guess what? When you find your outlet, right? Once you have that triangle, I don't care which one of them leaves, you're gonna have to replace them. So you might think, okay, I'm good with my husband,
Wait,
and my
it ain't
boyfriend,
long enough.
my
Wait.
boyfriend leaves, then I'm gonna be good with my husband. No, you're not, because there's gonna be an open void from your boyfriend. So you're gonna,
Michael was like, wait, me. It's
you're gonna fill that spot. And guess what? If the husband leaves, you're gonna keep the boyfriend in his spot and get you another primary to make that machine work. Yeah, baby, that's the way that goes. When you create a 2 or 3-headed monster, they become interdependent. So you might think you can get rid of one of them and be good, but if you've done that thing for 2-3 years and one of them spots come open, Mike gonna be in it if he's single.
Hey, dog, don't do that. I said, don't do that. Right, he put me out there like that. I'm like, for real?
I'm just
Turn off
saying,
his mic. Turn off
Here's
his
the
mic.
thing. Here's the
20 years
thing.
ago, Mike would have been in it. 20 years.
There you go. I appreciate that. So I've actually heard people say that their situationship improved their relationship.
Yeah, I believe that.
I've
I'm gonna
heard
drop
people
the
say,
mic and I'm gonna exit stage left
Don't-
now.
no, stay here now. So I've heard people say because of their situationship, their relationship got better. And their relationship got better because there were things that their relationship was lacking that they can now express and go through with their situationship.
Or get.
So what they were like, so
or
that
get. So that way you're not looking for
or get it. Exactly. So remember that 80-20 rule? So remember that 80-20?
Come on,
So
sir.
I'm
now-
gonna put myself on mute.
Let's
That right there.
even say it's a 70-30 or 60-40. Well, when they getting that 60, when they getting that 40% or that 30%, they're a lot more happier because now they're 100% fulfilled. So now when they go back home,
Tell
they
that man.
smiles and giggles.
Mathematics. Talk about that
It's not,
mathematics.
look, if you
Let
only
me
get,
say
if you
this
only had
real
60
quick.
before, now you got 100.
Let me say this real quick, y'all. Let me be very clear. I've never, ever, ever, ever in life cheated. Ever. Never.
Oh,
Not a text message, not an inbox, not a call, not nothing. However, I have been in, I'll say 2 situationships, right? But I've never cheated. I've never cheated. I've never been married either. I've never cheated, but I have been in, serious relationships or whatever, but I've never cheated. I've never cheated because I have a cutoff factor that click, block list. I don't think about it no more. I'm done. That's why I wanted to talk about forgiveness, because my forgiveness is great. You will never know that I've forgiven you because, baby, you on the block list. I got people on the block list because I've had my phone number for 22 years. I got people on that block list that's been on the block list at least 19 years. Like, I look at the number like, what is this? because they've been on the block list for 19, 20 years. Like, we're done. When I'm done, I don't go back. Well, what are we going back for? But, that's a different conversation for a different day. But I'm just telling y'all, just to kind of clear some stuff up, I've never cheated. I've never been married. If I was in a relationship, I was in that relationship. And even during the time that I was with the situationship for 8 years, we would be off and on. So when I got into a relationship, I would leave him alone. But the minute he messed up, the boyfriend messed up, hey, what you doing?
There go that 20.
What you
Right.
There
Right.
go that 20
Welcome
right
up.
there.
When the twins
I
power
had, not too long ago, I had somebody to be like, well, we should do bedroom stuff. And I was like, so you got a choice. You could be my boyfriend, my man, or you could be my 12 to 2 something to do.
Ooh.
You don't get both. Not right now. I'm not interested.
Wow.
If you want to be 12 to 2 something to do, that means we don't have no conversation. None of that. But that's another story. Keep going.
I swear I know your cousins.
Most
know
people,
all
and I'm only saying this because men and women, a lot of times women won't admit that they can be this person, right? They're, oh, I love him and I'm committed, and baby, that wasn't who I was. That's just not who I was. And I don't have a problem with admitting that. That light flick on and off every now and then now. Like, I don't know if I want this relationship thing because I don't want to be hurt. So because I never wanted to be hurt, there's this, okay, 12 to 2 something to do. There's no feelings involved. You do what you do, I do what I, when we together, we together. When we not, we not. There's no question.
Well, you
But
should
I
be
think a lot.
for being able to do that though, because people are in the habit of throwing a rock and hiding their hand. People are much more into who they want you to think they are than who they really are. I posted something the other night on Instagram that says, never be afraid to take your time, because a person will convince you that they are the person that they wish they were brave enough to be.
Mm-hmm.
I've met people who tried to sell me on who they were because that was who they really wanted to be, but that wasn't who they were.
But, so, in conclusion, y'all, because let me tell y'all how, again, when the world opens back up, we will have a he said, she said, because I just feel like relationships, situationships, friendships are so important, right? And we oftentimes don't know how to communicate, to say what we want, mean what we want, and give what we want, right? We don't have, something in us doesn't have the capacity sometimes to do that. And I feel like maybe we should have more of these conversations.
But that's a whole nother hurdle we have though, because people often say they want the communication, but then it's so foreign to them when they get it, they don't know what
They
to
don't
do.
know how to handle it. Exactly.
We gotta change that. Because right now, it stands 5 people on this line. And I believe these 5 people can have a real conversation.
But you know what?
I believe that there's gotta be more of us.
But if there were
There's
more
gotta
of us, if there were more of us and people were really willing to have these open, honest conversations, the divorce rate wouldn't be 50%.
Talk about that, sir. Say it again.
Just flat out. The divorce rate would not be 50% if more people were open to having these honest conversations, either before marriage or during marriage.
Yep.
If they were more open to have these conversations before marriage, it wouldn't be 50% because half of them wouldn't be married.
Wouldn't even get married.
And then during the marriage, if you were willing to have these honest and open conversations, I'm willing to bet if people actually sat down and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I think we should do, instead of just going out and acting on their own individual wants, if they actually had these conversations during the marriage and were actually honest with their partners and their partners were actually honest with their responses, divorce rate wouldn't be 50%.
No, sir.
I bet you can cut the divorce rate in half just by people opening up their mouths and having honest conversations about what they want, what they need, what the expectations are, and what they thought, not what they thought, what they think their marriage should be and what they expect their marriage should be. Period. Even if it comes to the point where in your marriage if you find yourself attracted to somebody else while you're married, guess what? You need to bring your behind home and tell your other half, hey, I find them attractive and this is why I find them attractive. Okay, baby, what we need to do about this? Because if
Period.
it get
Period.
it's that simple.
Baby,
But you
look,
know what?
he
People
came
are
to work
scared to have that
today, and I was like, "Woo, babe, we gotta fix this. We gotta fix this." I'm
People,
like,
people are scared to have that conversation because they're scared to find out
The
what their
potential.
partners exactly. They're scared to see what their partner's going to say.
Potential. The competition. They don't want to face that.
They're scared. They're scared to have those conversations, and because they're scared to have those conversations, the partner goes off and does something that's non-beneficial to their marriage or non-beneficial to their relationship, and then that relationship dissolves once the other half finds out because they're hurt, and they're hurt because the conversation was never had. All of you, you know what? I think people would be surprised on what people would accept if the conversation was honest and open and found out the streets went both ways. I think people would be surprised at what bruh. I think
That
people would be
part.
surprised. And then, but you know what? That's the selfish part of the other person who's doing whatever they want to do. That's the selfish part, because now they have to think about, hey, if they say okay, then what does that mean down the line? What does it mean down the line if
I
now he
can't. I
rolls
can't.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying, we
I
will
went too
get.
far.
All you gotta
I'm
do is
sorry.
ask. Like, don't. Okay. So the world is going to open, but until then, you have this platform right here, bringing real life situations, right? My platform has always been transparency. It's very important for people, not men, not just women, people to be transparent and live in their truth. Their truth may not be your best friend. You may not like it, but it's their truth. And we have to live in that. We don't even have to accept it, but we do have to respect it. That's what this is. That's what this platform is for. It is for transparency, living in truth, period, right? Relationships right now, especially during this whole pandemic where we're in the house with your husband that you ain't seen in 3 weeks. Oh, okay. I won't go there. That's a whole nother story. That same boyfriend that you didn't even like for real, you was just kind of using them for what? Nope, won't go there either. Just know this platform is for real life situations. And I'm going to be bold enough. See the orange? I'm going to be bold enough to bring them. May not like it, may not be popularity, and I'm okay with that. So until next time, I want to thank each and every one of my guests. Sean, you have always been amazing. Michael, honey, let me tell you something. I will be scared to date you, okay? Okay. And Eugene, I thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. Felice, baby, we got some work to do, okay? Because honey, yeah, you said something about some TV show stuff. Oh, I got a giveaway. Wait. I do. I said I was gonna okay, so my daughter has 2 businesses. One business, she's 8 years old. Let me be very clear, right? Generational wealth is real.
Yes.
So she has 2 businesses. Her first business is a paparazzi business, $5 jewelry, nickel and lead free. So it's a paparazzi business. And the second business, we haven't even launched yet. We just announced it today. Kaya's Kitty Spa and Events. I'm still learning the name. She takes the spa and we travel to different parties and all of that good stuff, right? And give these 10 and younger. They get mini facials or manicures and pedicures and this little diva makeup stuff. I don't know what that's about, but okay. And she's 8. She'll be 9 in June. So I am very, very proud that I am able to do these things for her because my mom was always like, go to school, get a job that pays $100,000+ a year, and that's that. Well, me personally, I never really wanted to be in corporate America, right? I wanted to own a salon. I wanted to do my own thing. So now I'm making it so that my children can do that. And she just happens to be the last one. The other ones are all, older and stuff. So sorry. Because my oldest daughter was like, you didn't do that for me. So this is the necklace that I'll be giving away, and I will name the person later.
Pretty.
This is a purple,
Nice.
and it comes with matching earrings.
Nice.
Very cute, nickel and lead free. So I will announce the winner later, but yes, we are giving something away. For the next 2 weeks, I'm giving something away. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I got all kinds of stuff, y'all. So I'll be giving stuff away. So again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all your posts and your comments. I'm sorry that I could not get to them. This conversation just got too good. But I do thank you guys. And again, these 3 men, you will see them again. You will see them again, and you will see them again, because we need to talk about all of it. We need to talk about relationships, situationships, friendships, forgiveness, love, marriage, hate, all that good stuff. We need to talk about it, and I'm going to bring it to you. So until next time, guys, I love you. And tune in next week. I got some good stuff. Good stuff. See you guys.
All right, Sean Michael, salute.
All right.
Good
All right,
night.
Mike.
Good night.
All right, Eugene.
All right, boy.
Good night, ladies.